Welcome back to part 3 of the step-by-step guide to softcap. Today we're going to go over all the different things our arts are going to be doing life skilling wise to get us started. Also, we're going to show what gear they're going to need, the tasks they need to be performed to get them to the level that we need them to be, and also a node network that's going to be very easy to manage and only get you material that you'll actually use instead of just having a bunch of stuff that you're going to have to sell in the marketplace. With that being said, let's get into it. We'll start with probably the easiest life skill in the game, which is AFK fishing. All you're going to need is a rod and a character that's willing to be here all night. You just press space and the rod will cast and you can just walk away from your computer until your inventory fills. Once you wake up, you'll be able to go sell your fish. You would want to take off your fishing rod and run to this guy over here. He'll be able to buy your fish from you. I actually don't have any fish he's willing to buy from me because they're only blue and yellow grade that he would like. And then since you're gonna wake up with a full energy bar, if you have no way to spend it, you could run up to this guy up here and bottle it. So you can talk to this guy, exchange it, and then you can get this energy potion, and you can sell it on the marketplace for an easy 500k. Now with all the green fish, what you're going to want to do is run over to the trade manager. And he'll be over here. It's right next to the stable master. Once we get to him, yeah. Then you're going to trade to him. I would not bother bargaining with him since your level's so low, you won't really get that much of a benefit. So just sell all, and we're good to go. This is the gear you're going to need to start your fishing adventure. You're going to need your bottlenose rod. Any will do since our inventory is small and we can't discard any fish. Any level of rod would be acceptable. Eventually when we get to Artisan 1 or Artisan 5, I forget, we'll be able to get a maple float. Then we're going to want Logia accessories. You want all 6. You can have them at base. You can get them at Pry, Duo, Tri, or Tet. Whatever you want to get, as long as you have all of them, because we mostly want them for the XP bonus when it comes to fishing. And then you're going to need at least a +2 fishing clothes, and to make sure that you're in a guild with max life buffs, and then that will get you to be able to get your most efficient fishing sessions possible. Once you start fishing a lot, you'll eventually get enough mats to get a Cryos fishing chair. Basically, your character will sit down while fishing and you'll have an increased chance to get a better fish. It's not a big boost at low levels, but at high levels, it's a gain. You could choose to sell them or use them yourself. It's free for you, so it's not like you're really losing out too much if you choose to use it anyways. The other thing that you will need to do very quickly, regardless of your inventory size, is get your fishing rod to +10. Even if you have a small inventory, that's fine, because you can always choose to discard your green and even your blues if you have a very limited inventory. This is an option that will open up once you get to the higher tiers of fishing. I suggest only getting rid of greens since it's pretty hard to fill up your inventory of only yellows, even if your inventory is the minimum. The other thing you want to do is get your float up to 10 as soon as you can. Once you're Artisan 1, you want to at least get one float, and then you just slowly upgrade it. I would suggest just buying the 10 off the bat, but if you can't afford it, you know, what can you do from there? And then the only other thing will be you always want to fish at Valia Beach. Mostly for the convenience, because there are other locations you can go to, but as a low level ult, for the most part, I would not suggest fishing anywhere besides Valia Beach. It's protected, you get good amounts of stuff, and all the NPCs you need to interact with are nearby. The gear you're going to need to gather are very similar to your fishing clothes. It's going to be your Logia set and a +2 gatherings clothes. Then you're also going to want to get a blue life spirit stone, and this will be taken at all times while you're gathering. And you will not have to worry about the 800,000 costs that you have to pay up front. You'll be reimbursed that plentiful by just the procs it gives you on when you gather. Now, if you're under 650 mastery, you're going to want to use a magic hoe if you're leveling, or a magic butcher knife if you're killing wolves and wanting money. Now, there is an alternative to the magic tools, and that would be the light tools. They are available at Northern Wheat Plantation for 50 contributions each. They are almost equivalent to a tri-manos weapon, which is about 1 billion and a half silver, and they're even better than that because they also give you a 10% gathering EXP, which the Manos gear does not. So if you have the extra 50 contribution, I would highly suggest you getting this weapon over anything else. It's basically an end game piece of gear that they're giving you for 50 contribution. It's a no-brainer to me. Now we're gonna start with my favorite life skill in BDO. It's gonna be cooking. The reason being, it's very profitable and it gives you a daily income for just logging on essentially. Now, what the clothes we're gonna need is gonna be a +3 silver embroidered cook's clothes. Then we're gonna need a life spirit stone and your logias that they've been using for all the other life skills you've been doing. In this case, pry logia ring, pry necklace, basically all of them being pry is really gonna matter. Otherwise, you're gonna have to do maybe an extra 30 minutes of cooking at the very end. So this is a good way of shaving 30 minutes off of your total cook time. Now, here's the important part. We're gonna need a lot of buffs, and I mean a lot of buffs. The first buff we're gonna be using is gonna be our silver cook's clothes. It's gonna be at tier 3, so it's gonna give us 20%. Then we're gonna use the pay to win cooking outfit, which is gonna be the kanape for another 15. Then we're gonna go to the Oasis vendor. We're gonna pick up about, depending on how many days you want to do this over, 3 to 4 seafood. They're 1 silver each, so this is basically a free 10% buff. And then we're gonna need the Verter draft. The Verter drafts are quite expensive, but do not be swayed. You do need these, and you will want to have them on at all times. They lower your cooking time, which is the most important part, but they also give you 20% EXP. You need to have these at all times. Then we're gonna have the Old Moon Book. This is something you can pick up for free just for playing for a few days. You'll get a 7-day one, or you can buy it out of the cash shop if you have the standard pack immediately. Then you can get the life book / loyalty scrolls for free actually. They're going to be called the extra life EXP scrolls. You get them for leveling up your life skills to certain ranks such as skilled, professional, and yada yada. And then the last one that we're going to be using is the value pack. And if your guild is nice enough and pops one, you can get an extra 20%, which I think I should just click off because I don't know what that was clicked in the first place. If you have any other buffs, throw them on there. The more the better, but that's going to be the buffs we're going to be using. These buffs stay on at all times, no matter what. If you're cooking the lowest EXP recipe we have or the highest EXP recipe we have, it does not matter. They will be on all the time. The first recipe we're going to do is going to be for 12,800 vinegar crafts. So what we're going to need to do is buy 12,800 fruit, leavening agents, grain, and sugar. This should cost us about 27 or 28 mil. And then we're going to transfer to pickled vegetables. Pickled vegetables is gonna be costing an extra 60 mil or 55 mil, sorry. And the vinegar will be free since we've already made it. Now, this is gonna be what we box up and sell to the Imperial vendor eventually. Once we're done with all this, we will have a little bit more EXP we need to get, and the rest will be going for beer. The reason we're going to go for beer is because we're eventually going to need it, so we might as well just make it ourselves, then buy it off the market anyways. And this extra 1,800 beer that we will craft will get us to Masters 1. The reason we're going to get to Masters 1 is because it gives us 250 mastery without having any gear on. And that will get you to the 30 million silver per day mark just by turning in your pickled vegetable boxes that you will create. So in your Y screen, you'll periodically get these type of free scrolls. And the one where I was talking about are these extra life EXP scrolls that we will use when we're cooking. Now there's a few other things that can save you a little bit more time while you're cooking. The number one thing is to get advanced cooking utensils. The only problem is there's a lot of pre-orders, so immediately try to get your pre-orders in. The way you pre-order is by putting the max amount you want, and then you just wait until it comes in. These actually are no different than the ones you can get from the NPC, but you do have to change them out less, and that will actually save you time, a lot of time actually, over the long run. Now, the difference between using NPC cooking utensils and using the advanced one is actually pretty big. It's almost an hour, closer to 55 minutes, but it's almost an hour difference between the two. And I would say 10 mil is nothing compared to saving you an hour having to just cook for that long time. Now, the next thing to do is, what do you do once you're done with everything? Well, you'll have about, think it's about 18,000 pickled vegetables, and then about 2,000 of the rare procs. So what you do is you hit L, you'll go to Imperial Cuisine, then you're gonna click on the vegetables, and then you start. She'll start packing up your food into a crate, and then it's ready to get dropped off. So something I did was I took some time out of my schedule and I put all my pickled vegetables into crates. So now whenever I need some money, all I have to do is turn in these crates. So you grab some crates. They're very heavy, so you can't carry too many at one time. So I think I can carry 14 on this character. Yeah, 14. And they will not buy your food if you're overweight. So make sure that you stay underweight as much as possible. And then you go to this Imperial guy, and then you can sell to them. I've already done it, so he will not buy them again. The way you know if how much you can turn in a day is going to be your contribution points cut in half. This is the first guy. He's in Olvia, and the second guy is going to be in Hydel. There's one in Calpheon, but I'm not actually sure where he is since I've never really cooked in Calpheon. I've always only cooked in Hydel and Velia. Whenever I'm cooking in Velia, I turn over at Ovia because it's a lot less populated and a lot more likely that this guy isn't being sold out. Oh, that's another thing. So let's say that you're a Guru player, I believe. Oh no, Guru's actually not sold out. But a lot of times, Master, Guru, and sometimes even professional boxes are sold out. And if they are sold out and he won't buy anymore, all you have to do is switch servers and you'll be able to sell them. One last thing about cooking. When you're cooking to masters, you'll get about 400 to 500 witches delicacies, depending on your RNG. Now, you have two choices. You can either get milk and continue your cooking adventure all the way to Guru. The reason you would want to get milk is because it's a bottleneck in higher level cooking recipes. Or what you can do, as I did with this character, is turn them all in for contribution EXP. You get about, I think it was 110 contribution points I got for turning in all the delicacies I got. That will open up so much for us, and it will make the next session on farming a lot easier to do and make our node network a little bit more malleable and not have to be so staunch in its structure. Again, you have two choices. You can go for Guru and make even more money because once you hit Guru, you'll be making about 7 million base a day, or you can cut your losses and not cook for an entire week and just start getting your daily revenue up to 30 mil once you turn in all your delicacies for contribution points. So up next is going to be a very small node network that we can set up very early into the game. Now there's two routes you can do. You can do this the non-farm way and the one with farms. The ones with farms are for people who have already done the Master 1 cooking and trade in all their witches delicacies for CP. So otherwise, if you haven't done that, or you want to just copy this completely, you're going to want to get the whale farm and the Costa farm. Reason being is they both give you fruit so you can use towards your vinegar when you cook. And then over at Veliot, we're gonna get grains, eggs, and meat. At Finto and Bartali. And then the houses we're gonna pick are gonna be these three. You don't really have an option. Those are the only real three houses we have. So you're gonna go here, and then you go to lodging. Oh, sorry. Click out of that. You're gonna go to lodging, and when it goes to lodging, it'll show you all the houses available, and then you just buy as much spacing as you can. And then we're gonna go to Heidel. Heidel has a few. It's gonna be grain and flax. The reason why we have flax is we're just gonna sell it on the market, but the reason why we have it is because it only costs one extra CP, so it doesn't actually really affect us too much. And over at this farm, we're gonna have extra vegetables from pumpkins, wheat, and more flax. Again, the flax nodes we're not gonna end up using, but one extra CP is not a big deal for us. And then again, we're gonna want this honey mostly. It's not super hard to come by, but it's nice to have some on hand whenever you need to cook something with it. And then the last node that we're gonna want is gonna be at Northern Wheat Plantation. It has what is it, paprika, which is a vegetable, and the other two are gonna be grain nodes. And that would be it. So once you do the Masters 1 cooking that we did previously in the video, you can sell or you can trade in all your witches' delicacies for farms. So you trade in all your delicacies for CPs, then you're going to go to the worker in Heidel named Flavian or Flaviano? Yeah, Flaviano. And you can get a bunch of fences, and then you pick a special crop that you want to harvest. Most crops are going to be very viable over here north of Logia Farm on the cliff overlooking where you fish. So this right here is going to be probably about 15 mil every 6 to 5 hours depending on the weather normally. So it's really good source of passive revenue. And the way that you're going to do that is by housing all your workers in Heidel. All of the farm workers are going to be in this room right here. It's going to be room 4, 8-1 from Heidel. Then you're going to just max this out at 5, and it'll house all 8 of your workers for only 4 CP, which is a bargain. You will notice we're missing 50 CP from the total, and that will be used to get your light gathering tool, whether it's a butcher knife or a hoe, from Northern Wheat Plantation's Node Manager NPC. Now we move on to farming. Farming has 2 viable routes we can go. The first one would be to power level all the way up to Artisan 1. That way we can interact with special drops that come from farming. The way you would do this is by growing mushrooms south of the Heidel River. The problem with this method is the fact that you're going to need a lot of energy on one single character rather than being able to use any of your characters to pick up the harvest. The second one is to grow a money crop rather than mushrooms in order to gain money rather than experience. The good thing about this route is the fact that you can use all your characters, any character with energy, and it won't really make a difference in your money output. The way that you would do this is by using any cooking crop. So you would want to use onions, hot peppers, regular peppers, wheats. Anything that's commonly used in cooking will be able to become a very good profit crop. I use peppers mostly because it's turned into balanos, which eventually on this account I might want to do. But for you, it can be whatever you think is going to sell the best. Doesn't really matter too much. Wheat maybe is probably the worst out of the bunch, but outside of that, everything else is about the same. And the way that you would farm in this game is once you go to harvest your crop, you will breed until you have enough seeds again to replant your entire plot, and then you harvest the rest of them normally. Next episode, we're gonna get into getting to 58 and then getting our Chenga tome. And then from there, we'll work our way to leveling all the way up to 61 once we get our Chenga tome. Until then, have a good one.